A marketing hack that most business owners miss. Welcome back to another episode of Build with a Plan with Coach David here. And today we're going to talk about a marketing hack that most business owners miss, and they miss the mark. And it's an easy one to miss, and I'll tell you why. Well, right now I'm working with a startup, and unfortunately I'm working against the grain because they are brainwashed, if you will, because they want to do what everybody else is doing in their industry. So they want to start up a custom kitchen business, right? And they go, okay, I want to do custom kitchens. That's what I want to do. Well, let's put the logo at the front, at the top of their sign. This is where it all started. We're talking about their sign, but this applies to any part of the marketing you want to look at, right? So before we do that, I want to talk about the 3 perceptions of your business. This is super important to understand because we often forget about this. So the 3 perceptions are, the first one is internal. This is what you and your staff think about your business. You know your strengths. You know how well you can look after customers. You know the quality of product that you're producing. That type of stuff. And then the perception number 2 is your customers. Now these are customers that have worked with you, and they could be friends as well, but they've already dealt with you. They know what you bring to the table, but you don't have to convince them about the quality of service or product that they're going to get from you. Marketing is talking to the people who don't know you. And that is the 3rd perception. It's the outside perception. And what I want to get on this, or the point I want to get to on this, is they don't know you from a hole in the ground. And that's a good thing, and it's a bad thing. Now, the bad part is, if you are saying what everybody else is saying out there, then you sound like everybody else out there. So what I want to talk about today is kind of showing you some examples of what it looks like or what it sounds like when you are like everybody else. So I'm just going to open up a few websites here. Let's go through this here. All right, so there's this one. We'll start here. They've got, they use the city. The city's a good idea to put in there, but, ABC company, we're a kitchen designer and custom cabinet maker. Top rated designer and custom maker in that city. That is sort of their headline on their website. And then when you scroll down a little bit, it says, discover why we are the best with our Canadian made custom kitchen cabinets. Now there's nothing there that sets them apart. It's very generic, and pretty much anybody else can say that. So that's one of the things we want to avoid. So let's go to this other website. They're another kitchen cabinet, custom kitchen place in the area. And basically it just says kitchen cabinets, city name. Okay, they got the city name in there, and that obviously is there for SEO. But again, it's just kitchen cabinets, city name. Nothing compelling, nothing interesting. And then they have this sort of paragraph. And then it says, are you looking to get new modern kitchen cabinets in said city? And they go, company name has you covered. Installing kitchen cabinets with this company can be affordable and admirable. Admirable is kind of an interesting word in there. But again, anybody else can say that. So let's go look at a third one. And the third one says, custom cabinetry built exclusive for you. Okay, now that's a little bit better because now they're talking specifically to you. They're speaking to you, and this is going to be built specifically for you, exclusively for you. Sorry. Now, their next line is, as one of the area's largest and most experienced custom cabinet makers, find out why we pride ourselves in the value and service we offer our clients. Again, very generic, and it doesn't really speak to why I should buy from you. Now I got to go down further and figure out what it is. So what I want to talk about is how do we bust through what everybody else is doing? How do we talk to that outside perception so that people know that they want to choose your business over your competition? Well, one of the first things you need to do is make sure you're not saying what everybody else can say, right? Or are saying for the most part, right? It's custom cabinets, best in the area, most experienced. What makes the largest and most experienced? Well, everybody can say that. And it doesn't mean it's true, but everybody can say that. So that's one thing that we want to avoid. Another thing is saying stuff like family owned, we have the most friendly staff, best customer service. This type of thing, these types of points are what you expect from that business. That's the other thing you want to think about when you write one of those main points. Because remember, this is at the beginning. It's in your ad or it's on your website. You want to speak directly to them and say things that speak directly to their needs. Okay, so what are the needs, you ask me? Well, first of all, you need to identify what that avatar looks like. Okay, as a custom kitchen designer, installer, we have to figure out who we want to talk to. Who are the people that I want to work with? Okay, so we did this little review and we talked to the client and they were saying, okay, well, what we want above average household income. Okay, so this is above average. It's not run of the mill. They're not going to go to the local hardware store and find someone there. They want their house to look a certain way. Okay, and the household income could be so high that possibly one of the partners are at home, and that typically is the wife, and usually they are the decision maker. So that's something you have to consider. But also, they want it to be unique to themselves. It's something they want to be able to be proud of, something they want to be able to show off, right? They don't want their neighbor down the road to have a similar kitchen or a similar feature in their kitchen because they want to be proud of their kitchen. They want it to be unique specifically for them. And what other things could they want? Well, they want it to be done likely on their schedule. As in, they want the least amount of inconvenience for themselves. And that includes the least amount of mess that you can possibly do. And they want to be treated special. A lot of times the people that you're, in this category, they're used to special treatment. So we want to make sure that we are addressing and we're speaking specifically to them right off the bat. And the reason why we're doing that, there's two main reasons. Well, obviously we want to be addressing the outside perception of your business. You want to speak to your ideal avatar because you want to qualify them. If you are looking for a super budget, let's get it done, cookie cutter kind of kitchen, then you need to position yourself that you're going to automatically not qualify them as a prospect for yourself. So you need to identify what your avatar is, understand what it is that they're expecting from you or from a service like you. Okay? And then you need to address those in your ads or in your website, however you're actually going to be talking to them. And it actually should be part of your verbiage, even when you answer the phone or when you're talking to them. All right, so one of the things, I was working with this client, and they were going, oh, you know what, I want the logo at the top. I want to have a couple different points, and then the phone number, and then that's it. And I'm talking to the client. I'm saying, like, so you want to be like everybody else. Why would they want to call you when you're saying pretty much the same as everybody else? So what we did work out was we were able to connect with them and look at a different way to do it. Let me just call it up here. So you can't see it, but I will read there was 2 versions I proposed to them, and the points are the same, but I'll tell you the more generic headline first. It's custom kitchens without compromise. And you want to talk about, okay, so specifically what you're doing custom kitchens. So that in a way sort of says, okay, we're not your run-of-the-mill cookie cutter kitchen. And you're saying without compromise. So that's the first thing that you're reading, custom kitchens without compromise. So automatically you've raised the level that this is something that that's higher end. And then the points underneath it is designed to your specs. Okay, again, this is talking specifically to the homeowner or the decision maker. We are going to build this to your specs, not ours, but to yours. And then the second point is on your schedule. So this will happen based on your schedule, not our schedule. Point number 3 is seamless experience. Now this talks about the lack of or the inconvenience factor that you're going to do it, talking to the designer, talking to the installers, getting everything done is going to be seamless. It's going to be as pain-free as possible. And the last point being uncompromising quality. So what we're talking about again is we are at a different level than your run-of-the-mill custom kitchen. And then the call to action is speak to a design expert now. And then the phone number. And then the logo goes at the very end. Because at this point, people don't know who you are. So the logo in the company name is less important. Right now, what's important is to talk to your ideal avatar, to qualify them right off the bat. Now, the one that I liked better, and this was, again, when you're working with clients, you need to look at different aspects, give them a couple things to think about. So the other headline that I used was affordable bespoke kitchens. I mean, I think affordable, yes, but the thing is, even affluent people want a deal. Everyone feels a little bit more special when they have when they feel like they're getting good value at a good price. Now, affordable doesn't mean that you have to be the cheapest. It just means that you're affordable for the level that you are working in. And bespoke kitchens, obviously, bespoke is a word that's used for custom, another word for custom made specifically for you. Okay, and we've got the 4 points again: designed to your specs, on your schedule, seamless experience, uncompromising quality. And then the call to action here was slightly different. Book your personal consultation now. And then there's the phone number. So again, this is personal. This is there's a different experience feel from this, as opposed to just saying you're the best, largest and best in the area. Let me go back to a couple of those websites and we'll look at it here. Right, custom cabinetry built exclusively for you as one of the area's largest and most experienced custom cabinet makers. Right, that doesn't speak to those points that we're talking about. And then the other one was, top rated designer and custom cabinet maker in this city. Like, this doesn't speak very loud to the points. What matters to your avatar? Again, it doesn't matter if it matters to you. It matters to your avatar. That's who you're speaking to. You need to craft your message so that it speaks directly to your avatar, the client, the prospect that you want to talk to. That's why it doesn't matter if you wouldn't necessarily respond to that ad because it's not about you. It's about the people you are wanting to attract. So again, remember the three perspectives. There's the internal. It's you and your staff. They know what the quality is. And then there's your already customers, the ones that have already worked with you. You don't need to convince them. They already know how what the quality is that you deliver. It's the outside perception that you need to work on. And the best way to do that is to understand the avatar you want to talk to. Make sure you make some points on what matters to them. Because again, the message needs to be them, not to you, not to your neighbor, but it needs to be to the people you want to work with. So that's the marketing hack that most business owners are missing right now. You don't want to be like everybody else. You don't want to say what everybody else is saying. You want to speak directly to your avatar so that when they're ready to buy, they will call you. All right. Thank you for joining me on Build with a Plan with Coach David. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.